Hello, this is Dr. Lewerenz at Longevity Health Institute. I hope this finds you well and further educates you, especially if you have autoimmune disease, or you know somebody with autoimmune disease, or you're suspicious that you have autoimmune disease, or technically if you just have an imbalanced immune system. So as you know, and probably you've heard in other videos of mine, and you know someone or yourself, autoimmunity is on the rise. In fact, last decade or so, it's been going up more than threefold the last decade. And there's many reasons for this, and theoretically, some of them are, and some of them have been proven in studies. And it's not just one reason, it's a plethora of reasons. And actually, we have to address those in a clinical practice and not just band-aid them. And that's what we do here at Longevity Health Institute. Me and my practitioners always look at why, the root cause, take a personalized approach to fix you and get you on the trajectory of better, optimal, balanced immunity and health. So prevention, if you will, and prevention of autoimmunity. So let me go over this a bit though. And when I'm talking about autoimmune disease, we're talking about things like lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, MS, mixed connective tissue disease, like I saw someone this morning with dermatomyositis. What else? Scleroderma. Technically, there's a big belief that fibromyalgia is an autoimmune response. Not a lot of data to support that, but there is some suggestion in science and probably eventually will be proven that it is related to an autoimmune type of response, okay? Which is where you have diffuse muscle pain that is multiple points along with fatigue and poor function and quality of life. So again, how do these happen? Well, a lot of them happen due to things that are related to your immune system, your diet, your gut lining. Your digestive lining is an organ, okay? It's an organ system. So we think of things suffering and aging like your heart, your brain. We worry about your bone health with aging. We worry about thyroid as we age, and we check in on that every once in a while. Okay, all of these things are organs that can decline with aging. Yet, we don't think of our digestive lining as an organ or an organ system. And it's probably the most important system and organ in your body when you talk about immunity, or at least one of the most important. And why is that? Because the barrier in your digestive lining, in your esophagus and stomach and small bowel, etc., is your barrier between an immune system response, your defense mechanism, if you will, to what we call exotoxin reaction and endotoxin reactions that then create an immune shift, okay? So your diet and that gut lining is an organ that essentially has to be protected and be optimal. And truthfully, just like your heart, technically like we do here in screening, just like your brain, just like we do with mammograms, just like we do with stress tests for hearts, just like we do go to the dentist and actually get a cleaning and get a screening at least once or twice a year, okay? We need to think preventively about your gut health and about your gut lining. We do that. We screen here people for leaky gut and digestive issues all the time, every day, all day long, repetitively, just like a dental cleaning. And you may say, what the heck's that? But the reason is because you don't always have to have a symptom. So you don't always have to have heartburn or indigestion or IBS or food intolerances or allergies and all that to have a digestive issue that can cause then immune issues. For instance, I saw a lady today that was a new patient, okay, that had a lot of bloating, a lot of indigestion, things like that. She was here for weight and hormones, okay? We are addressing her gut too, though, and when I looked at her blood on a microscope through live blood analysis, I think you've seen that in other videos, or at least look those up on my YouTube here or on Facebook, is that we can appreciate and educate the patient on what leaky gut is, candida is, and educate them about what's happening at their digestive lining. Well, she had a lot of stuff in there, a lot of yeast, and there is studies that show that that is going to affect her metabolic activity. So it's going to affect her metabolism. It's going to affect her weight. It's going to affect how hormones affect her. Why? Because it affects how absorption and how she has elimination with her bowels. Okay, so let me go back though to autoimmunity. If we have good integrity of our gut health and our gut lining, our immune system is stable. What else can affect and help somebody with their autoimmunity? Well, over and over and over, we see this all the time. Anything that is a stressor. So meaning, sleep can be a stressor. Emotional things can be a stressors. Exercise to some degree excessively and not in a balanced way and not without enough recovery can be a stressor. And any stressor then can cause an immune shift. Saw somebody the other day actually with dermatomyositis that had a big flare, and when we teased apart, what was going on and what was causing a flare in his dermatomyositis, was exactly that, stress. He had a lot of stuff at work, a lot of stuff in his personal life. He wasn't sleeping well, and boom, that's when the trigger happened, okay? And ironically, and not coincidentally, a lot of times stress affects eating, right? We all do this, and we make the wrong choices that affect our gut. And you've heard me say this before, and there's a lot of info and even whole books on this. And gluten, the enemy, with especially anything with a bad gut, and autoimmunity and autoimmune responses. You start picking carbs and breads and pastas and all these things that have a lot of gluten in them, and you're more aggravating autoimmunity, okay? So stress is a huge thing. Something I literally just read last night in a book I'm reading that was really, really interesting by Dr. Bruce Perry, and he's been on Oprah many times and written many books. And it's really interesting in this book is that there is a study that actually shows if you have 3 stress events in your life, okay, 3 events in your life, especially in adolescence, okay, you have a greater risk of a heart attack than 2 packs a day of smoking. And that is very, very profound to me. I can't even believe that significance. Yet we know it and we live it and we feel it, all the stress and all that. And yet we still kind of, it's just, that's what we all do. We all have this in our life and we just keep moving forward and all that. So we have to address stress, and stress in any form: exercise, sleep, emotional, psychological, physical, any type of stressor. And sleep issues, sleep interference, dysomnias, not a good enough hours of sleep, broken sleep, any form of sleep disturbance can actually cause an immune issue, okay? Mostly why? Because it affects your pituitary and it affects your adrenal gland in making efficient hormones that affect your immune system, as well as many other things. So those are very key things. Now, one thing, I've done a whole video, I believe, on this, and that is LDN, low-dose naltrexone. Now, it's a off-label medication that has the ability to balance immune responses, okay? And anything that you can help balance someone's CD4, CD8 cells, natural killer cells, and all that, you're not taking away bad diet, you're not removing stressors, you're not really immune suppressing somebody, which is a good thing, but you're causing them to have this balance. And if they have stress that causes their immune system to hyperactivate, it can kind of give them a shift back, okay? Or things that are unexpected. We all have life changes and things that happen. Well, a medicine like LDN, low-dose naltrexone, is something that we use off-label in very micro dosings, sometimes as small as 1 milligram, sometimes 4 milligrams, which is usually the successful doses around 3 or 4 milligrams. And it has such little side effects. That's what I love. It's so well tolerated. Why not use it? Why not use something that can really help somebody with autoimmunity, yet no downside? And usually I say this: take it for 3 months. Let's appreciate where you're at in 3-4 months. Okay, how is your immune system? How is your symptoms? Are you doing well with it and tolerating it well? And if it's really no difference, and authentically we can have that conversation, then you can be the judge. The patient can be the judge, okay? It is not an immune suppressor, and again, well tolerated, so different than a steroid, different than a biologic, some of these new drugs, etc. but it does work really, really well and tolerated really well. Probably the worst side effect I ever hear about, maybe a little lightheadedness in the beginning and maybe vivid dreams in the beginning that usually dissipates in a few weeks. And usually, like I said, within a couple months to 3 months, there is usually a subtle balance in their immune system. And with good diet, recognizing stressors, good sleep, again, diet gluten-free, usually their immune system is doing really well. Now, and they do really well with their condition. Now, also, I want to state this. I have many patients, and there are studies on this, yet not many, but I will tell you in vitro studies, in mouse model studies, in other animal studies, there are evidence of this, but I see it here all the time is your hormones, not just your adrenal hormones, which have immune issues related to them, but your sex hormones also and thyroid hormone do play a role in your immune system. And I see effects and benefits that when we balance somebody's hormones, okay, that seems so unrelated to, let's just say, their rheumatoid arthritis or their MS or their psoriasis, or yes, eczema is a form of an autoimmune response, okay? And when they, balance and we appreciate where they're at with their sex hormones, they do much better, okay? Much, much better. So I always say, first, we do no harm. Always do the right thing and do no harm. The second thing is just to make sure that we're looking at somebody from an optimal level, a balanced level, and that we're improving functionality and prevention. Again, here, we always look at you from that standpoint in a personalized way. And we also are always looking at this, and it sounds silly, but I like to make things simple. Aging is a disease. We know what's going to happen. We follow these metrics. We optimize you, okay? And we keep those diseases and those aging processes pushed out, hopefully till we're much, much older, hopefully 90s, 100, whatever, okay? And that's when people thrive and do well and function highly, okay? And that's so important because when you think about society where we're at, from stressors, from work, from life, from home, from society, from world events, I mean, say no more, right? It's tough. It is tough, okay? Feeling good, feeling optimal, feeling that you can, manage your life and manage your job and your children and support and fortify your home and create a community with loved ones and share with friends and family and really help everyone to thrive, okay? Because why? You're doing well, okay, is really, really the goal. That's really the goal, okay? That's where I'm happy, all right? So anyway, autoimmunity can be helped, can be optimized, can be balanced. We're here to help. If not, share this and educate and look into functional medicine, personal medicine providers in your area, or look us up on the web, give us a call, make an appointment. Me or my providers are here to help. Longevity Health Institute, be well.